Spawning over here in the bottom right-hand position, ladies and gentlemen, as the blue Protoss player. He's currently down one game, but exhibiting some fantastic skill in game number 1. Will he be able to make it back and even things up in game number 2? We'll find out in just a moment. Representing the Republic of Gamers, ladies and gentlemen, we have Elfi. And over here in the top left of the map, we have our red Terran player representing Quantic Gaming, taking game number 1 in that epic macro encounter where a lot of expansions were denied, able to edge it out there. Can he do the same and make this a 2-0? We'll find out in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the STC. So, pretty awesome stuff coming out from both of these players, but ultimately the STC just edging a little bit ahead of his opponent as it currently stands. Going to be building the supply depot at the ramp, potentially looking to wall off here and prevent that scouting from Elfi, but everything looking fairly normal at the moment. Elfi just chrono boosting a couple of probes there and going to be grabbing his first gateway. What an absolutely insane game number 1. I still can't get over how good the storms were in the first engagement when Elfi was moving into the STC's natural. I'm just reliving that moment and watching storm after storm after storm go down, and the STC was forced to completely retreat into his main base, and at that point it looked like Elfi just had a huge advantage because he was going for his third base. He had completely pushed the STC back into his main base. But then the STC went, LOL, it's alright, I have ghosts, and that really was the end of that. So it looks like we have got that supply depot blocking off the ramp here, so Elfi will not be able to get a scout in. The supply depot is only at 44 health, though, and yes, the probe is going to give it a little bit of a poke. Fortunately, the STC sends a second SCV, and really, that's not going to do too much to it at all. Ooh, even lowering the ramp just briefly so he can get his own scout out, tempting Elfi to go into the main, but unable to do so at this time. We have the cybernetics core going down for Elfi now, everything looking fairly normal, and this looks like a potential 1-Rax expand coming out from the STC because we see no gas has been taken in the main base. So, after the first barrack comes out, we're going to be seeing, oh, there we go, the scouting probe actually going down, a little bit sloppy there from Elfi. This SCV will be putting down the command center on the low ground. There we go. In the meantime, the scouting SCV now going to be going into the main base of Elfi. Just going to be scouting out, making sure everything is absolutely normal. A Zealot going to attempt to run around the SCV, but sadly, none of that is going to be possible. The SCV trying to tempt some of the probes into attacking him, but Elfi's having absolutely none of it. He is above that kind of tomfoolery. How dare you tempt me like that, sir? And he does move back at this time. We've got the bunker now going down for the STC at the natural expansion. Just wanting to make sure he's completely safe against any sort of early pokes, any 3-gate pressures or stuff like that coming out from Elfi. And he has held the close watchtower as well, so he knows a Zealot is incoming. So we might have a StarCraft Master moment here with a couple of Marines and the Zealot, but it looks like the STC just goes, nah, don't really want to deal with Micro right now. I'm just going to head into my bunker and say you can't do anything, which of course is an entirely sensible answer. And here we go, the Zealot moving up the hill and gonna go, well, I think I will think better of that. In the meantime, we have got the Nexus going down at the natural expansion here for Elfi. So he's going to be expanding, grabbing both of his gases, and we see here a robotics facility coming out. So we have a 1-gate expand into a robotics facility chosen as his strategy here. Let's see what he ends up going, if he's going to be grabbing gateways number 2 and 3. This could potentially be a Sentry Immortal kind of push, I guess, but really, he can go into a whole number of things right now, and it's just a very, very flexible strategy. The only thing it tends to fall to is ridiculous, like if we had 5 barracks right now and you only need a gateway's worth of production, yes, okay, that's going to be difficult, but that is not what's going to be happening in this particular game. Going up to a second gateway now back at home. And there goes the 3rd gate. So we are going up the 3-gate robo off of 2 base, everything looking pretty bread and butter so far. In the meantime, we've gone up to the customary 3 racks after the 1 racks expand, got a tech lab on one of them, and we should be researching STIM. There we go. Probably going to grab a couple of reactors later on, unless he decides to go Marauder heavy, in which case another tech lab would not be out of the ordinary here for the STC. Still holding this watchtower, and this time he will not be afraid of any incoming Zealots. I think he should be completely fine against that sort of thing. Elfi with Bob the Lonely Zealot going to be holding his half of the map as well. As an observer now pops out from his base, he will be able to get a good scout off on everything the STC is doing. He's actually grabbing an engineering bay in the very back of his main base, perhaps perhaps to try and hide upgrades from Elfi for as long as possible. Not really sure what the purpose of that is, but he's also getting a factory a little bit further away. So just forcing Elfi to cover so much surface area before he actually scouts everything. Just these little things that make good players great players. Really thinking about how he can really tax his opponent to the limit here. And in the meantime, we actually have the robotics bay just going down now for Elfi in the southern part of his main base as well. So he's going to be going up to that Colossus play. Looks pretty good. We'll see what happens there as the observer now moving into the base sees everything except the engineering base. So perhaps that was the STC's intention there. Starport going down. We even have the reactor on the factory, so we're going to get double medevac production very, very quickly indeed. And a Marine just going to be... I love this. Guys, look at this. This is what great players are made of. The Marine is here because Protoss love to put forward pylons at this location. He wants to catch a probe out. This is great map knowledge coming out of the STC, and this is fantastic play. I cannot emphasize how awesome that Marine placement is. Really, really cool stuff here. Now, the question is, has the STC scouted anything? No, he hasn't. He does not know that Elfi has Colossus tech out at the moment, so this could be very, very useful for Elfi later on if he decides to go for some sort of spontaneous push. As long as he sends a few units out to claim this watchtower before moving out, the Colossi potentially can catch the STC by surprise before he actually gets Vikings out onto the field. The STC now going to be adding a couple more barracks into his arsenal here, while Elfi already starting on that extended thermal lance. We have the STC finishing up +1 at the moment, but he still only has the single engineering bay and double forge now popping out for Elfi, so he will be able to chrono boost +1/+1, going for the Twilight Council at the same time as well. Elfi feeling like it is appropriate to tech up at this point. Observer coming via the right-hand side of the map just to scout where he might be able to get away with. He should see that Marine, so he may want to consider taking that out if that is the attack path he intends to use later. Oh, and the scan does it see the robotics facility? I don't know. Suicidal Factory Driver might be able to tell me. And the robotics bay is not actually scouted. The double forge is not scouted, and the Twilight Council is not scouted. So it looks like Elfi putting his buildings in the correct locations to stop that there, and a Stalker suspecting a drop might be on its way. He would be correct, but is he going to spot it? No, he is not. The drop actually coming down immediately. Gonna have one Marine scout forward just to see exactly what's going on here. And he can see those lasers from the Colossus picking away at those destructible rocks. And all of a sudden the STC's thinking, oh dear, well I better start some Viking production. That's exactly what he begins at his starport right this minute. So the Colossi have now been given away. He's gonna be getting back into that double drop right now. Gonna see if he can go into the natural expansion. But really, with the army here, I'm not sure how much damage he's gonna be able to get done. It's a very, very bold move. In fact, he's just gonna sit there until he is sure the army moves away, and I like that decision coming out of him. Some Stalkers and some Sentries going to be moving down as Elfi takes his third base unbeknownst to him. We have the double drop coming in at the back of his natural expansion, and it looks like they're going to be dropping without anybody noticing. Both Colossi, though, completely in range, and now he's going into the main base. Do we have additional units there? Yes, we do. 3 Stalkers warping in now, and oh my goodness, this could be a trap. Will the medevacs actually go here? We have, yes, 1 medevac does completely go down, and the second one with 7 Marines still in it, moving out towards the third base location now. I don't think he wants to drop there. I'm pretty sure he knows that Elfi is going to be hot on his heels. No blink at the moment, by the way. That is still being chrono boosted out, which is why he wasn't able to completely go forward and take out those medevacs. More gateways and a Templar Archives going down from Elfi as well. Really getting all of the tech, and now he has a third base relatively safely up, but so does the STC. Orbital Command at the third base, continuing to pump out those bio units and a bunch of Vikings as well to try and deal with those Colossi. Is Elfi going to be going for a push? He's moving out across the map at the moment. It looks like the drop is not going to be coming in for a second turn, so Elfi's going to be feeling relatively safe, and oh my goodness, is this 6-star sets or what? Oh god, blink is complete, and 1 medevac goes down. Holy crap, Elfi, you are so good. How is this even possible? Picking off that medevac before the drop can get anywhere, and he is unharassable from the STC right now. Really, really awesome stuff, and the STC cannot get a drop in sideways. And it looks like Elfi is just going to be sitting back at the moment, chilling out, getting his 2-2 upgrades, chrono boosting that Psionic Storm, waiting until he feels he has the perfect army composition to deal with the STC so far in this game. We don't see any ghosts in the army composition for the STC this time, so Storm might be relatively good. He has got the second engineering bay up now. It is going up to those 2-1 upgrades, so Elfi slightly ahead on the upgrade front, but look at this, that's a lot of tech labs going down on these barracks at the moment, a couple of reactors as well. So the STC looking to just power out as many units as he possibly can. Still no Ghost Academy, but no doubt he will get those as soon as he sees the High Templar out on the field. A lot of good energy on these sentries as well. Very, very EMP-able. But Elfi, before those ghosts come out, might have a really nice timing against the STC here, who is going up with another double drop. We have a High Templar there, and I think the STC sees it and immediately backs off. Yup, Elfi knows that the drop is incoming as well. He is completely and utterly prepared for this sort of eventuality. I wonder if that's going to trigger the Ghost Academy. A scan going off now to see if the drop can be put down elsewhere in the main base. And yes, it's going to be going down in this location. The rest of the army is going towards a third as well. So Elfi's army is being pulled out of position to deal with this drop at the moment. And the main army from the STC, we need to watch, is going towards a third base. But Elfi is not deterred, splitting up his army. A single Colossus is going to deal with that. But it looks like it's going to go down. Elfi not able to micro on two fronts. The main army does go away. We have an excellent storm there from the High Templar, but he is able to get out of there relatively safely. The STC does not lose a medevac in that particular drop, and his army is going to be moving back towards his half of the map. Is this going to prompt Elfi into some sort of attack round the back of his natural expansion, interestingly, rather than his third, just in case another drop was coming in? But it is not forthcoming at this time, and both sides are just chilling out on 3 base. Now we have the Ghost Academy coming down in the back of the third base for the STC, and 2 additional command centers incoming as well. He's going to be going out for another push with a decent number of Vikings, with +1 ship weapons going to be oh so useful against those Colossi as well. And Elfi simultaneously feeling like this is a good opportunity to attack. So the STC will get view of that watchtower for literally a second before deciding, you know what, I think I might be able to take this. Guardian Shield going up on that sentry, tempting the Vikings in, killing off a lot of them, and blinking underneath them as well. Really nice move from Elfi, picking apart most of those Vikings before any damage can get done. And is Elfi going to be moving forward? He only has 1 Colossus left, and he's actually only warping in Zealots and High Templar. So we have 4 ghosts at a time coming in from the STC, though, and that implies that EMP is definitely going to be part of this next battle. I have a feeling that Elfi could have attacked just that little bit earlier, but with good feedbacks and excellent storms, he might be able to pull this through. Let's see what's going to happen. He's chrono boosting out 3-3 from his forges at the moment, so he really is looking to grab that upgrade advantage as quickly as he can indeed. Colossi are now coming back out from the robotics facility as far as Elfi is concerned, and he's actually just holding tight at that watchtower at the moment. But we have a triple drop coming in now from the STC over on the left-hand side of the map. What will this do? He's actually moving forward here towards the watchtower. Elfi trying to get a good spread on these units, getting ready to move out and attack. We have a single High Templar, but the army's already moving back, and therefore we're going to be focusing our attention here to the third base location where 3 dropships are about to appear. Are we going to see a warp in from Elfi? Here we go. All 3 dropships now dropping their... No, only 2 dropships dropping their units. There we go. The third one going to be joining in now as well. And what is Elfi going to do? It looks like he's pulling back with part of his army, but not all of it at the moment. We should see a warp in from him very soon. And here we go, charge lots, 2 Guardian Shields and an Archon should be enough to clean this up, even though it is 3 dropships. I like the Archon is picking apart some of those medevacs at the moment, but sadly none of them are going to go down at this time. And Elfi now going to be going on the offensive against the 3rd and 4th bases of the STC. And here we go, the 4th base becoming a planetary fortress, but not able to complete, sadly. That should probably get cancelled. It does indeed, but it's definitely going to go down. A lot of SCVs here getting destroyed as well. And a good preemptive storm there, but we have snipes coming out from the army of the STC. More preemptive storms forcing the bio to run through before he's able to engage. Before the ghosts are able to get those EMPs and those snipes off. So great play coming out of there from Elfi, really trying to put the hurt on it. Only 1 Viking is left for the STC. These 2 Colossi are going to have free reign over the rest of the battlefield if he decides to attack. Now Elfi is getting his 4th base up and running at the same time. With this small army, he can get some probes mining there ASAP, trying to kill off the factory, the suicidal factory driver that's perhaps is taking a little bit of a safer route in this particular game. And Elfi is maxed out too. The STC's 165. The current worker supply is 49 to 60 in Elfi's favor, and it looks like we might be going in for a bit of harassment. Excellent observer placement, sees the army, and a couple of good EMPs coming out here from the STC. Is it going to be enough, though? No Vikings left on the field, but there's no energy left on these Protoss units. Excellent EMPs coming out of there, and Elfi is forced to hightail it at the moment. Just great Ghost Micro coming out here consistently from the STC, allowing him to win those engagements when he absolutely needs to. Elfi needs to watch out for their ghosts, feedback them before they get too close to him, and really try and storm and take out the army before the ghosts completely neutralize the effect of the High Templars. That is the biggest problem facing Elfi so far in this game, and now we have the STC going for for a counterattack against the fourth base of Elfi. I do not think this is savable. I think the Nexus is certainly going down here. Even targeting it down with the bio, that is going to be game over as far as that fourth base is concerned. And Elfi looking to try and flank and catch this army on the exit, which might be a good idea. But these ghosts have EMPs on them. Needs to be oh so careful. Guardian Shield going up in the back now, but we have a fresh number of Vikings coming in from the STC right now. Ooh, getting a couple of pot shots off, and here we go. The army is now starting to engage. There are the EMPs. Money EMPs on all of the frontline units from Elfi, but the Colossi in the back doing so much damage, and more High Templar coming in. He basically just wants to have more storms, and his opponent has EMPs at this point. Elfi really going for it as far as those High Templar are concerned, trying to storm as the army runs away, but that does not tend to be too effective because they run out of storm pretty darn quickly indeed. Will he get the Metavacs? He needs to get the Metavacs to prevent stimming and healing out of them. That would be so useful as far as Elfi is concerned right now. Even feedbacking the ones with high energy would be an excellent choice from him, but he has opted not to do that at the moment, saving his energy for those storms, and he's going to be going up once again to attack the fourth base and immediately deny it as it goes down. But the fifth has also been taken by the STC, and the Planetary Forge is actually going down here, so he's sacrificing this base, knowing that he's going to be getting the base on the opposite side of the map. This is a pretty tense game indeed. Elfi now going to be moving forward against the STC. Will he be able to take this particular engagement? Good storm, in fact, on a decent number of those ghosts as well. Great EMPs going off as well, but the Vikings are insufficient. There's still a Colossus left, and every single Viking goes down. Still needs to target down the Metavacs, but it looks like the ground army is going to dissipate anyway, and Elfi is looking in prime position to win here in game number 2. GG coming out from the STC, and Elfi takes the game to tie up the series at 1-all.